for this month's Laney's Legends, I'm super duper excited because the person I have chosen is somebody that I hold very near and dear to my heart. He means very much to me, and I'm extremely excited for you guys to get to know him a little bit better. He is the legendary Dale White.
Thank you. Hi, Laney. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you again. I usually see you with your hair up in a bun or in a ponytail and a practice suit, and yeah, this is refreshing.
Okay, well, I have a few questions. The first question I have for you is actually what was your go-to or life-saving product that you had while you were still competing? I know some of us are really finicky, and I'm just curious if you had anything that had to be with you at all times.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, you're asking me as if I've been competing just recently. It's been a long time ago since that happened. But I will tell you what my go-to product was, and that was a dirty hand towel. The dirtier, the better. And whenever my mom would wash the towel, I would make sure that it got extremely filthy dirty before I went to the contest. For some reason, I had to have this hand towel that was filthy dirty. That was my thing. You know, back then we didn't have tape on the baton. We didn't do the rosin so much, or the alcohol and whatever. It was just a dirty hand towel. Lane one, and you're good to go. So that was mine.
I'm surprised you even let your mom wash it. Some of us are even finicky about that. Wash the luck out of it. Good. I'm sure it would have gotten pretty stinky if you did.
It was nasty.
Now, I know you really like to choreograph, freestyle, and solo, but what was your favorite event while twirling?
Oh, two baton. Absolutely. Yeah. Two baton. It's weird because I felt very safe with two baton. It's weird because I was never what you would call a showman, and I was a little bit on the shy side, a little technical. I was protected by two batons out there, and it was that was my safe haven. I loved two baton. I liked getting behind them, under them. I liked them all over me, around me, over my head, beside my. I liked them. I just liked both of the batons. We didn't have three baton back in those days, and I think I would have liked that as well. But yeah, two baton was my favorite.
That's really fascinating to hear because, we always have so much fun creating, my rhythmic twirls and my solos, struts, and all of those things. But, I never really think about it. But when we play around with two baton, we always have a lot of fun with that, too. You always come up with some really intricate and unique stuff.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
It's very multidimensional, and when I'm on the outside looking in to students doing two baton, it's very sculptural and very architectural. So it's you look at the two batons, the two arms, the two legs, the one body, and it becomes very sculptural. I find it very interesting.
Since you do also judge, Dale, what do you feel are some aspects of a two baton or multiple baton routine that set apart a good athlete from an amazing athlete?
Well, there are some athletes that have this inherent knack for multiple batons. I remember one twirler that was great at three baton, exceptional at two baton, and pretty much just an intermediate solo twirler. But the more baton she had, the better that she became. But when you watch two baton twirling, as a judge, at some point in time, when two batons start to look like 3 and 4 batons out there, and you can't follow what's happening either from receptions to releases and follow-throughs, that's when you know that you're looking at something really special. When you see a great two baton twirler and you can actually say what they're doing, a high toss, low 4 turn, catch, turn, back catch, if you can actually say those words, then that's one level. But if you cannot even say the words that you're seeing before you physically, and it just looks like one ongoing sentence, then that's the mark of a really great two baton champion. You're seeing something special. When the inanimate objects become very liquid-like, around the body, it just looks like that they're in a wave of liquid. It's that's great control. That's also part of choreography. It just doesn't happen. It's as a result of training and skill and, you know, a great mental and physical awareness of how the batons rotate and move around the body and the space around you. And it's all quite scientific and very visual.
You are such a role model of mine. I love looking back and watching videos of people you have taught. Do you have anybody that comes to mind when you think of like who your biggest role model was while you were competing?
Oh, role model. Well, yeah, there were two guy twirlers that I competed with that always beat me, that I would practice and practice and practice to try to get to their level. Their names were Michael Schreider. He was from Lima, Ohio, and the other one was Michael Tagg from Crown Point, Indiana. Great twirlers. In fact, a little known story about Michael Tagg, he was the first person to do a cutback roll. Sometimes we call that a Fujimi roll. He actually was the first person to ever do that. And when we saw it, we couldn't even believe what it was, or we didn't even know what it was. And I tried to practice it, and I tried to emulate that. And I never could do that. That's why he would always win. But anyway, those two twirlers were the twirlers that I looked up to the most, that I had the highest regard as when I was a competitor.
Wow, and they kind of sat pretty close to home too, right near you, huh?
Yeah, we competed against each other all the time. Because back in those days, you know, you would go to a contest on Saturday and Sunday every single weekend, and that's what we did back in those days. So it was a weekly thing.
Wow. I think it could be nice to see your biggest competition all the time. Always being able to see what they're working on and all their new things, yeah?
Yeah, it was good. And we were good friends too, but we were rivals as well. And his natural ability to twirl was just uncanny. I mean, he was just phenomenal. And I was never at that level. And it was a real challenge for me to compete with him every single week, to say the least. So but it was good. It was good. I mean, that's what it really pushed me.
Yeah, constantly pushing you to grow further.
Sure, absolutely. Competition is good.
I'm curious to find out that if there is one athlete, one past athlete, not anybody currently twirling, but any twirler in the history of baton twirling that you wish you could have gotten the chance to choreograph on or work with?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting question, actually. There are a few, really, I think. I don't know that anyone that's twirling today ever had the privilege of being around the famous Kathy Fujimi, but she was mesmerizing, absolutely mesmerizing. I would go to a competition and watch her twirl, and I've been around twirling all my life, and every time she twirled, my jaw would still drop open. I would have loved to have had her involved today and then do like choreography on her just to see what it would be like, because her skills were literally uncanny. She was the type of twirler that is one of these once in a lifetime type twirlers. And she obviously had some things named after her, and she was quite special in our sport. And I'm so grateful, actually, and thankful that we still have the name Fujimi that's still being thrown around in our sport, which is a great tribute to her. So I think that would have been fun to have choreographed for the great Kathy Fujimi. I don't know what I would do, but I would try. I would love to try.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really funny because I actually did a Flip Tip Friday video about Fujimi's and tagged her, like, didn't tag her, but shared her picture and showed a little blurb about her. So it's funny that you chose her of all the people in twirling's history.
Yeah, she was an interesting character. She was uncanny with her skills. She was a no fluff kind of twirler, all nuts and bolts, and just the great nuts and bolts, believe me. You know, she would do things such as a flat 6 spin split jump pull out, and she would do her famous roles. She would do, you know, just amazing things with literally lightning speed that you would have to just literally pay attention to, or you would just miss it. You know, she was quite special.
I can only imagine. I wish I had the opportunity to see her twirl.
I wish there was videos of her. I wish that we would still have all of that, but unfortunately, I don't think there is.
No, I mean, I've personally never been able to find any. I mean, I have searched ever since I did that Flip Tip Friday book, but I haven't been able to find anything, sadly. What is your favorite routine of all time?
I knew you would probably ask me that. My favorite routine of all time that I did personally? Please, no.
Anything you want. You did, you choreographed, you saw a team routine, a pairs, a freestyle, a solo, anything.
There are many memorable, iconic moments, routines that have changed the sport of twirling throughout the years. And I have been privileged to either be in the gym witnessing or have been participating with. Obviously, one of the biggest moments of my career was being able to coach Mark Nash with the Maria routine, which was, some people think that really changed the sport of twirling a lot during those days, and I'm very proud of that, obviously. Mark was very talented, of course, and he was very willing to give 100% physically and emotionally to that project, and everything just came together and clicked. There's many Japanese performances that I was privileged to judge with the team event when they received 100 points. That's a special moment. You know, there's special. I was there when Seiji Inagaki did his Bolero routine. That was another iconic, life-changing moment. There was Holly Nielsen's routine back in the day when she invented, you know, so many new innovative type moves that we still do today, that those are moments that I was very proud of, and I was very happy to be, you know, around and in the gym during all those times. So there's been a few, and of course the most recent was your routine from last year. I mean, wow, right? That was quite special, and I think that it's really funny because when you watch that routine, you see the quality of it, but I feel it even more when I see the still pictures, when I see your poses, because you can really get a glimpse into how you felt at that moment. When you watch the routine, it goes by so quickly that sometimes you don't get that. I really, with you and Savannah both, those still pictures are very meaningful. I'm proud of that. Yeah, very proud of that, of course.
Thank you. And I mean, I feel like when it comes to pictures, they really capture the emotion in that exact moment. And then I feel like we miss, because there's so many elements we're trying to watch when we're watching like a video of it. There's so many things happening at once. Like you said, twirling just goes by so quick. Everything happens so fast. A photo freezes that moment in time, and you get to study every little detail of it. And that's when you get to see the facial expression, the body language, everything down to like the toe point in a picture. Like you can see how much effort was going into it, not only in myself, but in other photos that I see of other people as well.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You know, because twirling happens so quickly, we enjoy it so quickly that sometimes we're not as appreciative of it as we need to be in the skill has taken place in order to get that picture to be just like that. But when we do see it, you know, it makes for a great moment. It really truly does. And there's been several of those moments, you know, throughout our history that have changed the sport. And that will always be remembered. People will always be known for those moments. So I think that that's pretty special.
All right, Gil. So my next question for you is actually kind of a tough one.
Uh-oh.
So the sport that we all love so much is baton twirling. But if you could change one thing about it, what would you change?
Right now, I would change the judging system. Yeah, I really think I would love to be able to change the judging system. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that change should go, but I know that we're now we're in the era of the sport where it's now grown to the point where we have dance and gymnastics and acro and acting, and we've got all kinds of cool contact material and aerials and catches and rolls beyond belief. And oh my gosh, I mean, it's so multi-layered. I don't really believe that we have a system where the judges can look at a program and truly give a true assessment of what they're really seeing. I would love for there to be a system where every move that is done on the floor is given some kind of credit, whatever that may be. I'm jealous of the figure skaters because they have now a rewarding system of their jumps, their transitions, their skating skills, all of their things, and they have worked this out where it's kind of encompassed their entire sport. I think that our sport has grown, to completely different levels in terms of expertise and virtuosity, and I don't think that the judging system has, quite honestly. I'm a judge. I serve on a lot of judging committees, and we talk about that, and we work on this all the time. The judges will never be at the level of the athletes, and we shouldn't, because the athletes and the coaches are the ones that really are pushing the activity to new heights. The judges will always, and justifiably so, be a little bit under that level, but at this point in time, I think that we're pretty far under that level. I'm not saying that the people that win shouldn't be winning or any of that. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just saying that it needs to be clear when kids achieve a certain move, a certain level, that it needs to be clear that they're being rewarded for that through our system, whatever that means. And I know that's a lot of gray area, but that's just, it's just a general thought that I have right now. But that's what I would change the most.
Very surprising answer, but I can understand where you're coming from. I feel like there's always improvements that can be made in every aspect of our sport, whether that be the judging, the rules, anything you can think of, really. I think we can never stop growing as a sport. And I mean, of course, judging can improve our sport.
Look at it this way. How long do you spend in the gym, the number of hours you spend in the gym learning a flip, learning a roll, right? And then when you achieve that, it happens just like that, in the blink of an eye, and we expect our judges to get that?
Right.
We do expect our judges to get that. My question is, do they? I'm not sure. I'm sure that some do, but I think that, and I'm not really criticizing judges at all, but what I'm saying is that our sport has grown so much that it's really hard to keep up with, and it's really hard for anybody to really grasp what it is that they're seeing before them, because twirling is so fast. It happens so quickly. Other sports, the judges get a little bit of time. When figure skaters skate around a rink and they get ready to set up for their jumps, the judges can prepare for that. In twirling, it happens that fast. So we're all the time trying to play catch up. So
I think it could be really cool to kind of mimic like a scoring system similar to maybe ice skating or rhythmic gymnastics, or maybe even gymnastics, where each skill or element has a core value, like a set value. And if you achieve that, you get those like values added
Mhm.
to your score or such. I mean, I don't know precisely how all of that scoring works.
There's a lot of talk about that right now, within the associations. The problem is then it becomes it becomes a situation where all the twirlers have to submit all of their moves that they're going to do, and it becomes, in gymnastics they call it the fish, which is the list of moves that they have that all of the judges are going to then look at and decide what a base value of that move is. And then they have to, it's like a contract, they have to do the move in order to get the points. So I think there's a lot of negative things about that because it takes the element of surprise. It kind of takes the element of creativity and uniqueness out. If we had to submit that, it would homogenize our sport a bit, being that all twirlers would probably look a little bit similar. And let's face it, a lot of figure skaters right now look a little bit similar in competition. And they do that because it makes it easier to judge.
Right.
So do we want that? So there's a few schools of thought here about that. One thing that I'm most proud of in our sport is that it's really nothing like anything else. There's a certain uniqueness about it that is uniquely ours. We borrow a little bit from dance, a little bit from gymnastics, a little bit from the acting world, but we twirl. We know that stick, and I don't want to ever lose that uniqueness.
Right. I think it's what sets our sport apart from others.
Absolutely.
Out of everything you've accomplished in your twirling career, do you feel that there's anything that you still want to accomplish?
This will not come as a surprise, as I'm sure that this is the goal of many twirlers now, or especially administrators now, is that I really, really think that we are closer and closer and closer to getting baton twirling in the Olympic Games. We're closer now than ever, and wouldn't that be just simply the pinnacle for our sport? We call the World Championships now our Olympics, but our twirlers and athletes of today deserve a place in those Olympic Games. And that would be a dream for sure of mine, and I'm sure that is of many people.
Yes, sir. I mean, I can only imagine what it would be like to be on the Olympic team. I mean, I've been on the world team, but I feel like it would be a little bit different to be recognized. And
absolutely. Right, absolutely. And we deserve that. The twirlers of today deserve that opportunity.
The endless hours we put into the gym and the countless amount of work, the hours spent on choreography, the drilling, the repetition, it has to be equivalent to many of the other sports that are within the Olympics.
Absolutely. And it's very marketable. Twirling is quite marketable. It appeals to a wide range of viewers, on any level, athletically, artistically. There's a little bit of mystique about the baton. There's many things that's very marketable and very appealing to the masses out there. And we just need to tap into those things, get our big break, and let the world enjoy us, as athletic twirlers.
Absolutely. I think that would be monumental in our sport, really.
That's the goal. It's the ultimate goal, and that's what we're all working for, literally. Yes.
I want to know if you have any tips or pointers for the average twirler and ways that they can positively promote the sport of baton twirling.
Well, that's a good question. I feel like that in the United States, we have been at a little bit of a disadvantage with baton twirling because of the stigma involved, the negative stigma. And I think that if any twirler now of any level really, but even the average twirler, if they can be seen in public doing baton at any level, and showing that it's an athletic event and it's also an artistic event, and it's one where you can have fun doing. And especially if they can just be a spokesperson for the sport, that would be a wonderful way to shed a lot of positive light on our sport of baton twirling, because other countries, they started fresh and the public didn't really know anything about them, and they got on TV, and it was a kind of a unique novelty. And with us, we had a little bit there's a little bit of negative press about baton twirling sometimes that we've had to overcome. And I think that now it's the responsibility of coaches, and it's the responsibility of twirlers of all levels to promote the sport in a really positive light. And if you can be in front of a group of people twirling and speak about twirling, and its benefits athletically, artistically, and as being a future, as far as livelihood, that's even better. So we just need the performers now and the athletes to get out there and to promote as much as possible in the public, so that they can see the difference in what we were fighting before and what we are now, how we have now, gone into a different level. I think one thing that really has helped us is with the athletes that are now in Cirque du Soleil, with Jennifer Marcus and Seishi Inagaki. I think that those twirlers have really changed a little bit of the look of baton twirling, and they have brought a little bit more mystique to it. And I think that the more people that see that, obviously, and let's face it, the world of social media has made our world really smaller. So it's real easy to promote positive aspects of twirling. On the other hand, it's also easy to promote the negative aspects of twirling because of social media. So we have to be proactive in that area and be more positive. Absolutely.
I've been working really hard to try to promote the sport of baton twirling. I mean, I've been trying to do the YouTube, improve on my social media, and just really trying to get the sport known to people who've never really thought much about it. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was actually at school today, and I was telling the kid who sat next to me, I was like, yeah, I'm a baton twirler. And his initial response, literally verbatim, was, oh, so like you put boots on in March? And I was like, not quite. A very different level of baton twirling. I mean, it's evolved so much over the years, but like you said, people have that stigma and automatically go back to think about like what it was many years ago, where women would just march in parades representing their school band, and now we're on this competitive world level where we're competing against the top athletes from all over the world.
Right. Yeah. When people ask me about baton twirling, they say, "Oh, you can light it up with fire." And I go, "Well, yeah, sure. If you want me to do that, I can do that." Then you have to just completely explain the difference between a baton and a fire baton, which is okay too. But again, it's how you approach it. You approach it very positively. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great trying to break those standards and get it out of the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Dale, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and do this interview / masterclass seminar kind of thing today. I had such an incredible time asking you all those questions and getting an insight on your past twirling and your goals for the future and what you're currently up to. I mean, clearly I kind of know what you're currently up to because I'm with you all the time, but really thank you so much for being one of my Laney's legends.
Oh, well, you're very, very welcome. This was fun. I loved it. In fact, I want everybody to like this video and subscribe below.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye, Dale.